Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the Afterlife podcast. This is your host, Pooja Chilakuri. Today I have with me my guest, Tatiana Slezak. She specializes in intuitive healing, utilizing her gift of visions during sessions to gain deep insights into her clients' traumas. Through these visions, she is able to identify and address emotional blockages, allowing her to assist clients in releasing them. Tatiana is also the author of two books focusing on self care, stress reduction, and opening the door to new possibilities. And she is joining us today all the way from Australia. Thank you, Tatiana, for joining us and welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me in. And this introduction was amazing. I don't think I would be able to speak about myself this way, but thank you so much.
No, you are welcome, Tatiana, and thank you for taking the time and for doing what you do. As you know, I'm also in the health and wellness space. So when I was reading about your work, I was very intrigued. And what has really intrigued me is that you have a very practical approach, but also some gifts that you're bringing in that may not be the normal mainstream kind of medical stuff, but you're an intuitive. So I just want you to take it away and tell us about your journey, how you discovered your gifts, and what led to your doing what you're doing.
My main, I don't know if I can call it main gift, but the most surprising gift just came to me. That's the gift of vision. But to start from the maybe not fully from the beginning, but from the beginning, I was always into different stuff when it comes to health, and especially got really interested in it when I had my daughter, and now I have two children. So it was very important to me, not just whenever kid is sick, just to throw Panadol in and be done with that. My husband and myself, we always explore different avenues.
Mhm.
So the first avenue one of the first I was really interested in was called bioresonance, which is very popular in Poland. I'm Polish living in Australia, and lots of Polish people, they know this. Like maybe
Mhm.
they don't use it, but they know it. And I was very interested in it. And whenever I was going to Poland, I was going to bioresonance practitioner. Bioresonance is the actual machine that it's adjusting frequency in your body.
Mhm.
So let's say you have stomachache or some sensitivity to milk. Let's say it means the frequency in a certain part of your body has changed, and this machine puts the frequency into your body on a cellular level. And I thought if I always had in my head that I want to do it at some point,
Mhm.
and this would be like the most amazing thing I could ever do. And I did, and I still do it occasionally. When pandemic started, I felt this is the time. This is the time to bring it to Australia. And Australia is not very much known, but my first clients obviously were Polish people because they heard about that.
Yes.
And at some point, I was doing body because I love working with body, but I was always, and I still am, very interested about mental part of us.
Mhm.
Because through some issues I had in my family, with close family members, I realized, and that was just my own perception, that 99% of whatever is happening in our body comes from our head.
Mhm.
So there was a family member who basically mentally got so sick that her body got so sick that she ended up on ICU. She was told there is no way to coming back by the doctor. They said 100% she's going to die. But just to make the story short, she changed her mind at some point at ICU, and now she is living amazing life. She's healthy. Such an inspiration for me. I said, everything starts somewhere here,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Um, but coming back to my bioresonance, I was also interested in more woo stuff, let's call it this way. And I got into body codes.
Mhm.
There's a technique where you find actually emotion in the body and you release it. And I realized I can do it through the machine as well. And that was already mind blowing. But then at some point when I started doing it, I started seeing stuff like in front of me. Some of my fellow healers, they call me Netflix now because it's like I have
Oh.
sometimes quite drastic, I must say. I had seen, right? So there is scene happening like this person, but not necessarily in this life.
Mhm.
Something bad, woman hanging, or sometimes really horrible stuff. And then picture, there is something happening, and the picture freezes.
Mhm.
And I'm like, okay. So my client, luckily that was a client who likes to experiment. So what do we do next? I said, I don't know. Do you want to release it? And she said, yes.
Mhm.
And then I basically started watching of what's happening, but at the same time, tears were falling down my face. I started yawn, cough, everything. Like I was transmuting this energy. Picture changed like to the happy picture. And then she said, few days after, I feel so much better.
Mhm.
So I started exploring this. And now, after many months of doing it, and luckily got in touch with other practitioners who helped me to realize that I'm not crazy.
Mhm.
Because I had this moment where I thought, maybe, it's time to visit a shrink or someone. I realized that what I'm doing, I'm changing energetical imprint of something that energetically happened even in previous life or somewhere in past or current life, because I can see different people in different situations, either now or in past lives, or something soul went through. Even though that already happened, we change energetical imprint, and then it surface on physical level and people feel better.
Mhm.
We remove like blockages that it's blocking people from getting well or feeling better in their business or going through some, like everything is fine, but why I feel so bad, or why am I still scared of water or
Mhm.
something that it's unexplainable. And once we change it, it surfaces, and very often people feel better. So I started to explore it. And luckily, my family, they don't think that I'm crazy. They think it's so cool. And if I could just add one more thing, the most amazing thing for me was also working with children, little children, where I could work through their moms.
Mhm.
So this was the moment when I realized I'm not making this up, because the kid doesn't even know that I'm doing a session.
Mhm.
Like you could believe me so much that you might feel better, right? But what about the child?
Mhm. Yeah.
Child doesn't know,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I quite answered your questions, because once I get into it, I get
No, you're
so
doing
so
that's great.
emotional.
Yeah,
And
tell us everything.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
Tatiana,
so that's how it started.
no,
Yes, that
it's
was a
it's
long answer.
I mean, no, it was a perfect answer, but I'm still trying to unpack. There's a lot in that answer that I wanted to get after. Um, it's just not every day that people wake up and they're like seeing pictures, like what you said, Netflix, right? Um, when these visions or these pictures come, they just come, right? There's like it's like a download. Did I hear that right? It's like, are
It's
you
like a download, but it must be with your permission.
okay? Okay.
Amazing thing is that I also noticed that it's not like I can walk around, and luckily I would never like this to happen, that I can walk around and, talk to people.
Yeah.
You must give me permission. And basically, you are telling me the story. And
Mm.
I know for the fact that I'm not making this up, because on many occasions I was thinking, oh, this person has problem with that. I'm sure that I'm going to see that. And I see something completely different. So that's coming from the outside.
Mm.
It is a download, and I feel more like I'm watching of what's happening. Of course, I'm energetically very much involved because,
Mhm.
like I said, I'm yawning, crying, like I'm transmuting this energy, but I'm watching it. Um, I had I listened to some other healers who say, okay, now we do this, now I'm changing this, now I'm taking this. I basically feel I'm not doing anything. I just ask for your permission. Would you like to remove that? Would you like to go there?
Mhm.
I'm getting questions that I should ask you.
Aha. Again, that's where the intuitive healing comes in. That's the heightened
Yeah,
intuition
and
working
when
for
people
you.
ask me what's going to happen on the session, I don't know.
Did you ever struggle and doubt with your gifts? Like, do you ever go through that where you doubted what was happening? Like, how did you? Because I can only imagine that if I am sitting here one day and I'm seeing visions, how do I respond to that, right? What was your response to your gift?
To be 100% honest with you, it was a difficult process.
Uh,
It wasn't like, I'm so excited. I freaked out.
yeah.
First of all, I freaked out. Then I thought, maybe I'm losing my mind. And the next thing, the worst for me was, am I lying to people? Like, I'm offering you the session, I'm telling you, pay me, but what if I'm lying? What if what I see is not true
Mhm.
and I'm a fraud? That was with me for a long time. Before I actually contacted, because I listened to the podcast, your podcast
Awesome.
with Patrice.
Yes. Oh, yes. He has a very similar gift.
And then I listened to another podcast with him. And I was like, oh my gosh, maybe I'm not crazy. And I contacted him, and he helped me to go through this process of having doubts. And with him, actually, my vision speed up. Now, usually it took me a while before I see something. Now it's much faster. Sometimes it's on a couple or even 4 or 5 screens, like
Yeah. Yeah.
juggling through screens. But it was long process, lots of tears shed, I must say, because the last thing I want is to lie to people. Next thing, I was really scared of judgment. I never wanted to be deep inside. I was scared of being a woo lady.
Hmm.
Bioresonance was crazy enough, but at least I could say, look, it's the machine, it's a frequency. So I'm not that crazy. And now, how am I going to tell people that I have visions and people feel better through my visions? Luckily, like I said, I have very supportive husband who is an engineer, and he just thought this is so cool. But my internal process was very, very difficult. It was I feel huge journey and huge jump for me to feel now comfortable in this space and to be able to talk to you now. Like I talk about this like what I have for dinner,
Yes.
but before, very insecure, and I thought I'm quite self-confident, but after that happened, everything collapsed in me.
It's a very beautiful gift, Tatiana, because to me, if I were your client, I'm thinking if you can see what's going on, for me, that validation alone can be very healing. Because sometimes we ourselves don't know what's going on with us. We feel bad. We can't really identify what's happening emotionally. And for you to be able to see that and label it and tell us, I think it's an incredible gift. It really is. And yeah,
Thank
go
you so
ahead.
much, but you would be surprised how many people are scared of it.
Oh, really?
I had on few occasions people who said, I'm scared to come to the session with you because you will see how screwed up I am.
Actually, that does bring me to my next question. What are some common what are some common traumas that you've encountered with the people that you're working with? Do you see like is it more like childhood stuff? Is it like current situations? Like what are some of the common things that you find?
So first of all, I cannot tell that there are common stuff
Yeah.
because each one is very unique and never happened to me similar case.
Mm-hmm.
However, with happened to me on a couple of occasions to deal with ancestral trauma, which was Second World War. So I've seen people in concentration camps on both sides. I've seen even a very close person to me being in a Second World War situation where I hardly ever have visions for myself. But this was the moment where I saw myself in
Mm-hmm.
this person's vision. We were together. I was actually in a ghetto,
Mm-hmm.
which personally helped me to realize why I'm so scared of hunger.
Mm-hmm.
But that was another. So ancestral trauma, very often what comes up, not always, but very often is work, like you said, childhood with inner child.
Mm-hmm.
Lots of things are coming up with inner child. Interestingly for me, I see this inner child sometimes in heart, sometimes in people's tummies. So these
Mm-hmm.
are two places. I haven't seen it anywhere else at
Mm-hmm.
this point. But that's often what comes up. It's either child in previous life or either child from this life, something happened, and that's stopping people from feeling fully validated, or they see similar traits in their children of what happened to them. So children thing is coming up very often. What's beautiful about this, let's call it technique, we don't need to talk about this over and over and over like you would talk on a regular therapy session.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, you may not even remember some things. So it's good when we talk because then more things are showing up. But how did you feel when it happened? I don't need to ask those questions. I
Mm-hmm.
can just ask, do you want to release it? And this is where, yeah, but that would be another common thing.
Mm-hmm.
With women, Pooja,
Mm-hmm.
I cannot tell you how many times I've seen hang or burned women, prosecutions. If you show, and the funny thing is, funny, not funny, if you would show me the movie, like really on Netflix, the one that I'm seeing,
Mm-hmm.
I would be so scared and I would never watch it. I don't like this type of movies. But
Mm-hmm.
when I see it myself, I feel it's healing. So I'm not scared of seeing axes in heads and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
which happens as well. But lots of in women, lots of abuse and rape.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not only not it's not always a beautiful rosy journey.
Right.
Uh, quite often it's not, but I'm happy that I can see it because then it means that we can release it. And
Yes.
this is why it's happening. Yeah.
Yes.
Men, and sometimes even in men when they were women in
Another
a
life.
previous life, but the most oppression I've seen with women, yeah.
You're touching on some very important topics, Tatiana. Trauma is a very real thing. And this is my belief. I think we're all walking around with our baggage, with our emotional wounds, traumas. And if every person started healing, this world would just become a very different place. So, the question I have for you is about the releasing part. How does that work? Is it like through Reiki? Is it through touch? Like, how do you actually help the person to release that energy?
I run most of my sessions online. So I don't even, yeah. So I don't touch. This release comes from your permission. Picture is changing, and quite often some people feel this at the moment and burst in tears.
Mm,
Some people can feel that something is releasing, and some people don't. So basically, I'm watching it, and I'm in my situation, I'm watching what's happening, and I'm telling you what's happening as much as I can describe it. I really wish people could see what I see. That would make my job so much easier.
oh my
But I'm
goodness.
trying to describe it, and then it energetical, what happened energetically is changing, and
Mm-hmm,
it does surface on a physical level.
mm-hmm,
So I basically don't have any common tools, like you said, Reiki. I don't use anything of that, and I never know what I'm going to use.
mm-hmm,
But I know for the fact I need you there, and I need your permission there to
mm-hmm,
release it and to change it. And on many occasions, it was very powerful, and people burst in tears. And on some occasions, nothing happened, but let's say they were angry for the next week,
mm-hmm,
walking like a ticking bomb. And sometimes it's gone.
mm-hmm.
And that's how it works in my case.
Okay.
So me being what you said at the beginning, extremely practical, I kind of like this approach that you don't need to mm, uh, go over and over. But yes, I'm basically using whatever comes in this moment, but none of the known tools. The
Gotcha.
only tool that I'm also still occasionally using, it's bioresonance.
Mm-hmm,
So I can calm down the person a little bit if it's too much. If
mm-hmm,
they sometimes it happens that they say it's too much, I just can't, I can't function. Then I put some programs, because bioresonance can also work long distance after the session. But during the session, basically, no, I am in your field somehow, and I'm working with whatever comes. So no, none of the known tools, to be honest with you.
that's pretty interesting, Tatiana. And but what I am hearing though is that none of the known tools, but it looks like your intention and the person's intention are involved, right? It looks like if
Yes,
I'm
very
coming
much
to
so.
you,
There is no way.
right?
And I can prove it because my sister asked me for the session, and she woke up in the morning, which I didn't know. She woke up in the morning thinking, "Oh, I don't really feel like having session with her." I didn't know. But she changed her mind, and we got together, and I'm like, I see wooden door. I can't get in. I don't know what happened. I can't get in. And she went like, oh, but actually I didn't really want to have a session today. So definitely intention must be there. If I could come back to the tool,
Yes.
what I forgot about, that's just started happening recently. And also with help of Patrice, he suggested to me that I'm slowly developing the skill of being able to scan the person on my hand. So like I'm putting the person and I'm looking through, and it's usually green like in Matrix, but then there are some black spots. I'm like, oh, is this something in your tummy? Or is it but I'm still playing with.
This is what I love
with that.
about
My
your
husband was very excited. He said, "Oh my gosh, it's like you are like walking MRI."
Yes, I was gonna say Superman with those laser, like that laser vision. This
Yeah,
is what
but
I love
the
about.
person needs to be like on my hand, and I just go like I'm.
Well, Tatiana, this is one thing I love about your gift. It sounds like you're growing with it. It's like it's growing with you. There's a trajectory here, and I really love that you're open to that and it's very humble of you to like not say, oh, I have this gift, whatever. No, you're still growing with that gift. So thank you for that.
Oh, absolutely. Because like I said at the beginning, uh, before I had to wait like 5, 10 minutes before something would even show up. Now it's much quicker, and like there are few screens happening, and I'm just starting slowly to have group session where I could have 4 people at the same time working on. So I'm really looking forward now. I'm not scared anymore.
That's
I'm
awesome.
looking forward to what's next. And even that thanks to it, I'm talking to you today.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
it's it's just amazing. Otherwise, we would never do that.
I
And
mean, yeah, I would have never met you, all the way in Australia. Like, who knew? Who knew? So
exactly.
this is awesome.
Yeah.
But you mentioned a very important thing that you're not scared. I've always I myself being an empath, one of the things I've struggled with for a long time is other people's energy. Um, Absorbing that, right? How do I separate myself from other people's energies? So you're actually sitting in their energy field, and how do you, I don't want to say protect yourself, but how do you ground yourself?
That's a very good question. So I struggle with that very much when I was doing bioresonance. Each time I was cleaning, and doing washing my hands. Now I don't have that much. So definitely I need to ground myself in a sense. I meditate a lot. I eat good food. Um, I go for walks. I connect with earth. I feel like I'm very much connected to earth.
Mhm.
Uh, Earth is that's my thing. My guide. Uh, I feel it this way. And at first, I had my moment thinking, what if this energy stays? You had your trauma and I'm coughing it out. What if? But after not, because this door with my sister was quite early on. I realized, and this is that was a wake up call for me. Nothing can get to me without my permission.
Mhm.
Me with my healing energy, I couldn't get to my sister because she said no, which means if I say no, nothing can get to me, either positive, which can happen as well, or negative. And then I had this feeling I am being protected and trust that if I'm getting this gift, it's not to be hurt by it. There must be some kind of protection. So
Mhm.
basically, and my faith, and that always happens, that I attract clients that like I don't have this fear.
Yeah.
If I can just say it in a one sentence, I
Yes.
don't have this fear anymore. I used to, I don't.
Yeah.
And lucky me, if I ever feel something really got to me, I have people that I can contact who can check
Yes.
and release it. Um, Exercises is important. Some massages are important, but the most important, I think I there is too much thinking about, oh, this energy can get to me. This person said something bad, it can get to me. It can, if you allow it and you put yourself so low that you open the door.
Yeah.
I cannot say that I'm all, amazing, high frequency. Absolutely not. I'm just a regular human being with all my stuff that are happening in my life. But if you don't allow this to happen, it's not going to happen. So I'm not cleaning anything anymore. If I feel I need to go for a walk, I would do that. What I would do after every session, I cut the cords.
Yes.
I would cut the cords,
Yes.
definitely. But I won't do any big ritual of protection or something, because then I'm putting myself in fear.
Yes.
Yeah. But after the session, even for the sake of the client, I'm cutting the cords. But my intention is not because I'm scared. It's because what's yours is yours. What's mine is mine. Would you have the same thing, that for some reason people who come to see you, you feel like that you also healing part of yourself while you're healing them as well?
Yeah.
So I, instead of being scared, I'm grateful to those people
Very
that
well.
they helped me to heal myself as well.
Yeah. Yeah. That's very beautiful, Tatiana. It really is. And I'm just going to say it once more because it really deeply touched me. Nothing can come to us unless we allow it, right? Unless we open the door and say yes. So that's a very powerful lesson here. Very powerful. And that's one of the things I love about you. As I was reading your book, I haven't finished it yet. It's the first one you wrote about how to get out of the fog. And some of the things you're saying now, I know you've used all those tips in your own life, about self-care, about standing in your own power, about, different disciplines. So I'm going to switch gears just a little bit. And I'm going to ask you to talk a little bit about the book and how that came about. What motivated you to write that?
Because I wanted to get out of the fog. And that's the title of the book.
Yeah.
I just feel many times in life, people are in the fog. So you know that there is path, but you just feel lost and you need a bit of someone put you in the right path, or you just need to see the path. So that's how it came about. But that also came about this whole idea of writing. My whole journey as such, but especially the moment when I decided to have my own business, which was bioresonance. And I realized that I don't really have, that I'm living in this, I put myself in a spiritual path, which was do what feels right, do what brings you joy. And I realized I don't have much of the self-discipline because I always want to do what brings me joy. But maybe I need to put some more work into it. So this is where self-discipline and self-care at the same time came about.
Yeah.
So I started to look, I realized that at some point I didn't feel like doing stuff and I wasn't doing it and things were not going really well. But then when I started to search for topics about self-discipline, it was go, you can do it, motivation, da. I'm like, oh, that's not exactly how I am. I need more love with self-care, with motivation, because then what if one day I don't do it? What I have my period, what I don't feel well, or something happens, like go, otherwise you are a loser, da. So I decided that I'm going to change it, and I mixed self-discipline with self-care. And after I did it, I decided to write a book about that, because self-discipline is so important in life, but we often, especially women, tend to beat ourselves up so much. And I just don't want this anymore. And now, when I wrote the book, I wasn't on this path that I am right now. And now with my vision, I see that how big impact it has on our lives if we don't have self-care, if we beat ourselves up, if we are if we were hurt in our previous lives,
Mhm.
mm, it can just destroy our life, and we have all sorts of blockages. So I
Mhm.
wanted to show this more soft, but not too soft
Okay.
approach to self-care mixed with self-discipline.
Yeah.
That was important
Yeah.
for me.
And it's a very good book. It's very well written. I haven't finished it yet, but that was one thing that I wanted to tell you. When I was reading the book and I was thinking, this is such a down to earth kind of a practical book, and yet your gifts don't seem to be from earth. They seem to be from, some other realm. So just to see and talk to a person where I can, integrate these two. I'm loving this conversation, Tatiana, and I am loving it, but it's coming to an end. So before we go, how can people connect with you and how can they find your services? What's the best way?
The best way is just to go to my website, tatianaslezak.com.
Yeah.
And I am also on Instagram. I am Tatiana Slezak, Slezak, and that's the best way
Okay.
to contact me, either through Instagram or through my website.
Yep. And I'll make sure that I include all of that information in the show notes. I really want to thank you for joining us tonight, Tatiana. It's night for me, it's day for you, and I could see the sunlight behind you. And so it was very brave of you to come out and share your gift. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, and thank you for giving me platform. And there is something about you. You make people feel so comfortable, and I feel so comfortable talking to you, like with the friend. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
It was very
Tatiana.
beautiful, and
Thank you.
you helped me to look at what I do also from the different perspective. So that was,
Thank
um,
you.
yeah. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.